The large silver ship landed softly on the special pad built just for this moment. Dust rose in small clouds around it. The ship was smooth and round like a big metal egg. It had traveled across many stars to reach Earth. Dr. Geo Park stood tall and straight in his best blue suit. Next to him, Hannah Kim held a tablet with all the information they might need. They were the first humans who would talk to the aliens called the Drell. "Are you nervous?" Hannah asked quietly. "Yes," Geo said, "but also excited. The Drell come from a world with almost no water. Everything they know is dry and sandy." The ship made a soft hissing sound. A door opened slowly on the side of the ship. A ramp rolled out and touched the ground. 3 tall figures walked down the ramp. They wore shiny suits that covered their whole bodies. The suits had many small tubes and lights. Their heads were hidden inside clear bubbles. Inside the bubbles, Jiho could see faces with 4 eyes and skin the color of dark orange sand. The tallest alien stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Kren of the Drell," it said through a small black box on its chest. The box changed its strange sounds into human words. "We bring greetings from the planet Karos." Jiho bowed slightly. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Kren. I am Dr. Geo Park, and this is my assistant, Hannah Kim. We are very happy you have come to visit us." The alien tried to copy Jiho's bow, but its suit made the movement stiff. "Your world is very wet," Kren said. Hannah smiled. "Yes, about 70% of our planet is covered in water." The 3 aliens looked at each other, even through their face bubbles. Jiho could tell they were surprised. "So much water," said a smaller Drow. "It is hard to believe. Would you like to see some of our water?" Joe asked. "There is a lake near here." The aliens talked to each other in their own language. Their voices made clicking and whistling sounds. Then Kren turned back to the humans. "Yes," said Kren. "We would very much like to see this lake." They walked from the landing pad to a small lake nearby. The aliens moved carefully, watching everything around them. When they reached the edge of the lake, they all stopped and stared at the water. "So much in one place," whispered Kren. "On our world, this much water would make someone very rich and powerful. Here, it is free for everyone," said Hannah. "People swim in it for fun." "Swim?" asked the smallest Drow. "They put their bodies in the water," explained Geo. The aliens seemed shocked by this idea. "On Karos, water is too precious to waste," said Kren. "We drink small amounts. We clean with even smaller amounts, but we never put our bodies in it." The sun made the lake sparkle. A small bird flew down and landed on the water. "Look," said one of the Drow, pointing. "That small animal sits on your water." "It's called a duck," said Hannah. "It swims on the water and sometimes goes under it." The aliens watched the duck with great interest. Their 4 eyes blinked fast inside their bubbles. "Your Earth is very strange to us," said Kren, "but also very beautiful. We have much to learn from each other." "Yes," said Geo. "And this is just the beginning. You haven't seen rain yet." "Rain?" asked Kren. Geo and Hannah looked at each other. "Water that falls from the sky," said Hannah simply. All 3 aliens went very still. "Water from the sky?" Kren's voice was quiet. "You are making a joke." "No," said Geo. "It's very real. And the weather report says it might rain tomorrow." The Drow looked up at the blue sky. Their faces showed wonder and disbelief. "We look forward to seeing this rain," said Kren, though he sounded unsure. "If such a thing is truly possible." Jiho smiled. "Tomorrow, you will see something your people have never seen before." The next morning, Jiho and Hannah took the Drow aliens to a big building in Seoul. It had many rooms where people from Earth and the aliens could talk and learn about each other. "This is our cultural exchange center," said Jiho. "We will spend the day here." The 3 Drow still wore their shiny suits with the clear bubbles over their heads. They looked at everything with their 4 eyes. The smallest Droll, named Trell, took pictures with a small device on his wrist. Hana led them to a room with a big table. On the table were many cups and bottles of water. These are different waters from around our world, she explained. Some come from deep in the ground. Some come from high mountains. They all taste a little different. Ambassador Kren tilted his head. You have so much water that you can choose what kind to drink. Yes, said Geo. Some people have favorite kinds of water. The drow looked at each other. Their orange skin seemed to change color a little, becoming darker. On our world, said Kren, we would never waste water by having favorites. Geo nodded. I understand. Our worlds are very different. At that moment, a man hurried into the room. He had a tablet in his hand and looked worried. Dr. Park, he said, I need to speak with you. Jiho walked to the corner of the room with the man. This is Sunwoo Lee, he told the aliens. He studies Earth's weather. Is something wrong? Asked Hana. Sunwoo showed Jiho his tablet. There is a big storm coming. It will reach Seoul in about 5 hours. A storm? Asked Kren. Like dust storms on our world. No, said Sunwoo. A rainstorm, with heavy rain and maybe thunder. The middle-sized Droll, named Freck, stepped closer. This is the water from the sky you spoke of. Yes, said Hana, but a lot of it. Very heavy rain. Jiho looked worried. Maybe we should stay inside all day. The Droll might find a heavy storm too shocking for their first time seeing rain. But Ambassador Kren made a whistling sound. No, we want to see this rain. It is why we came to Earth, to learn new things. Sunwoo looked at Jiho. The storm won't be here until late afternoon. You have time to prepare them. After Sunwoo left, Jiho and Hana showed the aliens pictures and videos of rain on a big screen. The water forms in clouds, explained Hana. When the drops get heavy enough, they fall. And this happens often, asked Trell. In Seoul, it rains about 108 days each year, said Geo. 108. Vreck's voice was high with surprise. Water just falls from your sky over 100 times each year. Yes, said Hana. In some places on Earth, it rains almost every day. The aliens were quiet for a long time. After lunch, they went to see the city's water treatment plant. The Droll were amazed by the huge tanks of clean water. Your people use this much water every day, asked Kren. Yes, said Geo. For drinking, cleaning, cooking, and many other things. As they walked back outside, Geo noticed the sky was getting darker. The clouds were moving in faster than Sunwoo had said. Look, said Hana, pointing up. Those dark clouds are full of water. Soon, the rain will come. The 3 Droll tilted their heads back, staring at the dark clouds with all 4 of their eyes wide open. I still do not believe it, said Vreck. Water cannot just fall from the sky. It is against nature, said Trell. A strong wind began to blow. The air felt heavy and wet. We should go to the botanical garden, said Geo quickly. It has a glass roof. You can watch the rain while staying dry. As they walked, a low rumble of thunder came from far away. The Drow jumped at the sound. What was that? Asked Kren. Thunder, said Hana. It comes with rainstorms sometimes. Your water makes noise, asked Trell, sounding afraid. No, said Jiho with a small smile. But you'll see everything soon. They hurried toward the botanical garden as the first raindrops began to fall. The botanical garden was a big glass building filled with plants from all over Earth. The glass walls and roof made a dome shape. Inside, it was warm and slightly wet. As soon as they entered, the Drull aliens stopped and looked around with wonder. So many plants in one place, said Ambassador Kren. On Karos, plants are rare and small. Hana nodded. That's because we have plenty of water for them to grow. Trell, the smallest Drull, bent down to look at a bright red flower. Our plants are brown and gray. None are this colorful. Plants on Earth come in many colors, said Geo. Red, yellow, blue, purple, all kinds. The aliens walked slowly through the garden. They pointed at different plants and asked many questions. Vrek took samples of leaves in small clear bags. They seemed to forget about the coming rain for a while. But then a low, deep sound came from outside. The aliens froze. More thunder, explained Hannah. The storm is getting closer. Through the glass roof, they could see the sky had turned dark gray. The clouds moved fast across the sky. On our world, such dark clouds would mean a dust storm, said Kren. We would seek shelter immediately. Here we are safe in this building, said Geo. You can watch the rain through the glass. A man in a green uniform walked quickly toward them. He bowed to Geo. Dr. Park, I am Yum-Ho Choi, head of security for the garden. The weather service says this storm will be stronger than expected. Perhaps you should take your guests to the main building. Geo translated for the aliens. He thinks we should move to a stronger building. Kren made a clicking sound. No, we wish to see this rain phenomenon. The glass will protect us, yes. Yes, said Yum-Ho. But then we stay, said Kren. We did not travel across the stars to miss such an important Earth event. Yum-Ho looked at Geo, who nodded. Very well, I'll stay with you. They moved to a small sitting area in the middle of the garden. Large plants with big leaves surrounded them. Above, the glass roof gave a clear view of the dark sky. Will the water damage your buildings? Asked Freck. No, said Hannah. Our buildings are made to handle rain. How often does it rain here? Asked Trell. In Seoul, about 2 days each week, said Geo. Some months more, some less. The aliens made soft whistling sounds to each other. This seemed to be their way of showing surprise. And your people just live with this? Asked Kren. Yes, said Hannah. We need rain. It helps our plants grow and fills our rivers and lakes. Suddenly, a bright flash lit up the sky. A few seconds later, a loud crash of thunder shook the glass walls. The drow jumped up from their seats. Light and sound together, said Trell, his voice high and scared. It's lightning, explained Geo calmly. Electricity in the clouds. It's normal during storms. Another flash came, followed by thunder. This time, the sound was louder. The storm is getting closer, said Yum-Ho. He looked worried. The wind outside began to blow harder. Small branches and leaves flew through the air. The plants inside the garden swayed gently. On Karos, such winds would throw sand everywhere, said Vrek. It would be dangerous to be outside. Here too, said Hannah. Big storms can be dangerous. That's why we're inside. The aliens stared at the sky through the glass roof. Their 4 eyes blinked rapidly. Their orange skin seemed to pulse slightly, showing their excitement or fear. I still do not understand how water can fall from the sky, said Kren. It seems impossible. Just then, something small and dark hit the glass roof with a tiny plink sound. Then another, and another. What is that? Asked Trell. Geo smiled. That is rain. It's starting. All 3 drow stood perfectly still, their eyes fixed on the glass roof as more and more drops began to hit it. Water, whispered Kren, falling from the sky. The soft pattering sound grew louder as the rain began to fall harder. This is just the beginning, said Hannah. Soon, there will be much more. The sound of rain on the glass roof grew louder. It started as small taps, but now sounded like many fingers drumming. The Drell aliens stood with their heads tilted back, staring up at the glass dome. More and more water, whispered Trell. So much water. Geo and Hannah watched the aliens with interest. It was strange to see creatures so amazed by something humans found so ordinary. Is this normal? Asked Kren, still looking up. This amount of water. This is just a medium rain, said Hannah. Sometimes it rains much harder. Vrek made a sharp clicking sound. Harder. This is already more water than I have seen in my entire life. The rain was falling steadily now. Small streams ran down the curved glass of the dome. Outside, the plants bent under the weight of the water. The world beyond the glass looked blurry. Young Ho walked over to a control panel on the wall. He pushed some buttons, and part of the glass roof slid open a few inches. The sound of rain became much louder. The smell of wet earth filled the air. "What is that smell?" asked Trell, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. "That's the smell of rain," said Geo. "When water hits dry ground, it makes that smell." "It smells good," said Kren, sounding surprised. A few raindrops flew in through the small opening and landed on a large leaf near them. The drops sat on the leaf like small clear balls. Vrek moved closer to the leaf. "May I touch it?" "Of course," said Hana. Very slowly, Vrek extended one long orange finger from inside his suit. He touched one of the water drops. It broke and ran down the leaf. Vrek pulled his hand back quickly. "It moved," he said. "Water flows," explained Geo. "It doesn't stay in one place like sand." Ambassador Kren had been quiet for a while. Now he turned to Geo. "I want to feel the rain directly, not through this glass." Young Ho looked worried. "Is that safe for them? Will water damage their suits?" Geo asked the aliens this question. The 3 Drell spoke to each other in their clicking language. "Our suits are made to keep moisture in, not out," said Kren finally. "But they should not be damaged by brief contact with water." "Are you sure?" asked Hana. "The rain is falling quite hard now." "We did not come all this way to watch water through glass," said Kren firmly. "We want to experience it fully." Young Ho sighed. "There is a covered walkway with open sides. You can feel the rain there without getting completely wet." They followed Young Ho through the garden to a door. It led to a long walkway with a roof but no walls. Rain fell heavily on both sides of the path. The sound was very loud now, a constant rushing noise. The 3 Drull stood at the edge of the walkway. They were just one step away from the falling rain. Up close, they could see each drop as it fell from the sky. "It's so fast," said Trell. "The water moves so quickly." "Gravity pulls it down," said Geo, "just like on your world." Kren took a small step forward. He extended his hand out from under the roof. The first raindrop hit his suit and slid down the shiny material. Then another drop hit, and another. "It's cold," said Kren, sounding surprised. "Yes, rain is usually cool," said Hana. Vrek and Trell also extended their hands. Soon, all 3 aliens were standing with their arms out, letting the rain hit their suits. Their 4 eyes were wide open, watching the water run down their arms. "On our world," said Kren quietly, "to have this much water would make you the richest person alive. And here it just falls from the sky for anyone to take." "No one owns the rain," said Geo. "It's free for everyone." Kren turned to look at Geo. Even through the clear bubble helmet, Geo could see that the alien's eyes showed deep emotion. "Your world is truly a paradise," said Kren. "You live in a world of endless wealth, and you don't even know it." The rain continued to fall, harder now. The sound became a roar. "This is still just the beginning," said Young Ho. "The main storm is coming." The rain grew heavier. What had been a steady fall of drops was now sheets of water. The sound changed from a patter to a roar. The world outside the covered walkway became blurry behind the wall of falling water. "This is what we call a downpour," said Geo, raising his voice to be heard over the noise. The 3 Drell aliens stood at the edge of the walkway. Their arms were still stretched out, catching raindrops. But now, as the rain fell harder, they pulled back slightly. "It's so much," said Vrek. "How can there be this much water in the sky?" "The clouds can hold tons of water," explained Hana. "Sometimes they drop it all at once." A strong gust of wind blew rain under the roof of the walkway. Drops hit the alien suits all over. Trell made a high whistling sound and stepped back. "It attacks," he said. "No, It's just the wind, said Jiho. Wind makes the rain go sideways sometimes. Ambassador Kren stood very still. Water ran down his suit in streams now. The clear bubble that covered his head had small drops all over it. I want to feel it directly, Kren said suddenly. Not through my suit. Is that safe for you? Asked Hana, looking worried. Our skin can touch water, said Kren. We drink water, but we have never felt it fall on us like this. The ambassador reached up and touched the side of his helmet. There was a soft hissing sound, and the bubble split open at the front. Kren lifted it off completely. For the first time, the human saw a Drell's head without a covering. Kren had no hair. His orange skin was smooth. He had 4 eyes in a row across his face. His mouth was a small opening with no lips. 2 slits where a human's nose would be moved slightly as he breathed. Ambassador, I'm not sure, Yumho started to say. But Kren had already stepped out from under the walkway roof. The rain hit his bare head directly. The droplets ran down his orange skin. Kren froze. His 4 eyes opened very wide. His mouth opened in a small O shape. For a moment, everyone was silent, watching. Then Kren made a sound, not the clicking or whistling of Droll language. The rain poured down harder than before. It was like standing under a waterfall. The sound was so loud that people had to shout to be heard. Suddenly, Trell, the smallest Droll, began to shake. His orange skin turned a darker shade. He made sharp clicking sounds and backed away from the rain. Too much, he cried. Too much water. Vrek hurried to Trell's side. What's wrong? Are you hurt? Trell's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. Our world has never seen this much water in one place. What if it doesn't stop? What if it drowns everything? Jiho looked worried. Is he okay? Ambassador Kren moved back under the covered walkway. Water streamed from his suit and head. Trell is having what you might call a panic attack. On our world, too much water at once can cause flash floods. They are very dangerous and kill many people. Vrek was trying to calm Trell, but the small alien was getting more upset. It's a weapon, Trell shouted. The humans are showing us they control water. They can use it against us. Young-ho looked at Jiho with alarm. This is becoming a diplomatic problem. A young woman who had been standing quietly nearby stepped forward. She wore the blue uniform of the diplomatic team. I can help, she said. I'm Minji Kang, junior diplomat. I studied Drell psychology. Minji knelt next to Trell, who was now sitting on the floor of the walkway. She took out a small tablet and quickly drew something on it. Look, she said gently to Trell. This is Earth's water cycle. The tablet showed a simple drawing of clouds, rain, a river, and the ocean. Arrows connected them in a circle. The rain is not a weapon, Minji explained. It's part of how our world works. The water falls from clouds, feeds plants and rivers, goes to the ocean, then rises into the air again to make new clouds. Trell's clicking sounds slowed down. He stared at the drawing. A cycle? He asked. The water doesn't disappear. No, said Minji. It just changes form. From clouds to rain to rivers to oceans to clouds again. It happens all the time. Vrek looked at the drawing too. So the rain will stop. Yes, said Minji. Usually in a few hours. Sometimes sooner. Trell's orange skin began to return to its normal shade. It's natural, he said, sounding calmer. Not a weapon. A natural cycle. While this was happening, Kren had been standing at the edge of the walkway, watching the rain with all 4 eyes wide open. Now he turned to Jiho. I want to try something, he said. Before Jiho could ask what, Kren stepped back out into the pouring rain. This time, he opened his mouth and tilted his head back. Raindrops fell directly into his mouth. Kren stood like this for a few seconds, then stepped back under the roof. I drank rain, he said, sounding amazed. Water that has never been touched by anyone. Free water, falling from the sky. Hana smiled. Children on Earth often do that too. They like to catch raindrops in their mouths. Kren looked at her with surprise. Your children play with water. Something so precious. It's not precious here, said Jiho. At least, not in the same way as on your world. Trell had calmed down now. He watched as Vrek cautiously stepped back into the rain and also tried catching drops in his mouth. I think I understand, Trell said. Your world has so much water that you don't fear it. You welcome it. Minji nodded. Rain helps our crops grow. It fills our rivers and lakes. Without rain, our world would be dry like yours. A particularly bright flash of lightning lit up the sky, followed by a crash of thunder that seemed to shake the ground. The Drell jumped, but not as much as before. What causes that light and sound? Asked Kren. Electricity in the clouds, explained Jiho. When it jumps from cloud to cloud or to the ground, it makes light and sound. Your sky makes electricity too, asked Vrek, sounding amazed. Is there anything your world doesn't provide freely? The humans laughed. Through their eyes, Earth suddenly seemed like a magical place. When the rain stops, said Kren, will we see something else wonderful? The rain continued to fall heavily. The Drell aliens were now more relaxed about it. They took turns stepping into the rain and then back under the covered walkway. A group of people had gathered at the other end of the walkway. They watched the aliens with curious eyes. One man stepped forward and bowed to Jiho. I'm Do-Yun Park from the Cultural Affairs Office, he said. I heard the Drell were experiencing rain for the first time. Jiho nodded. Yes, it's been quite an event. Do-Yun smiled. In Korea, we have many traditions about rain. It's important in our culture. Really? Asked Kren, overhearing them. You have traditions about something that happens so often. Yes, said Do-Yun. Rain is special to us, even though we see it all the time. Children especially love to play in it. Vrek tilted his head. Play? In water that falls from the sky. How? Do-Yun laughed. I can show you. He turned to Jiho. May I? Jiho nodded, curious about what Do-Yun planned to do. Do-Yun stepped out from under the walkway into the pouring rain. He wore no special suit or protection. His clothes quickly became soaked. The Drell watched with wide eyes as water dripped from his hair and ran down his face. Then Do-Yun did something strange. He began to move in a flowing way. He spread his arms and turned in a circle. He jumped over small puddles that had formed on the ground. He tipped his head back and let the rain hit his face while spinning slowly. What is he doing? Asked Trell. He's dancing, said Hana, moving his body in a happy way. Dancing? In the rain? Kren seemed confused. Yes, said Minji. It's something humans often do. When they're happy, they dance. And rain makes many people happy. Do-Yun continued to dance. He moved with grace despite his wet clothes. His face showed pure joy. He waved to the aliens, inviting them to join him. He wants us to dance too, asked Vrek. Only if you want to, said Jiho. The three Drell looked at each other. Then, slowly, Ambassador Kren stepped out into the rain again. He tried to copy Do-Yun's movements. His long arms moved in circles. His legs bent and straightened. It wasn't exactly like human dancing, but it had its own grace. This feels strange, said Kren. But good. Vrek joined next. His movements were stiffer, more careful, but soon he was turning in circles too, letting the rain hit him from all sides. Trell watched for a long time. Then, gathering his courage, he stepped out into the rain. His dance was different. Quick, small movements, almost like he was trying to catch the raindrops. Soon, all three aliens were dancing in the rain with Do-Yun. The humans watching began to clap and cheer. I never thought I'd see this, said Young-Ho, shaking his head with a smile. First contact is full of surprises, said Jiho. More humans joined the dance. A woman with an umbrella closed it and let the rain fall on her. A man kicked off his shoes and jumped in a puddle, sending water splashing up. The droll watched and copied them. Kren tried splashing in a puddle. Water flew up and caught the light, making tiny rainbows for a second. "Water can fly too," he said with delight. "And sparkle," said Vrek, watching the drops. Even Trell was fully enjoying himself now. He held his four-fingered hands out, palms up, collecting rain. "On our world," he said, "no one would waste water by dancing in it. But here, it makes sense." The rain began to fall a little less hard. The dark clouds were starting to move away. "I think the storm is passing," said Hana. Minji nodded. "Yes, the worst is over. Soon the rain will stop." "Stop," said Kren, sounding almost sad. "But we just learned how to dance in it." Jiho smiled. "Don't worry. After the rain stops, something even more amazing might appear." The drow looked at him with curious eyes. "What could be more amazing than water falling from the sky?" asked Vrek. "You'll see," said Jiho. "If we're lucky." The rain grew lighter. Patches of blue began to show in the sky to the west, and the sun started to peek through the clouds. The rain grew lighter and lighter. Soon it was just a gentle sprinkle. The dark clouds moved away across the sky. Bright sunlight broke through, making the wet world shine. The Drell aliens stood in the light rain, still enjoying the feeling of water on their skin. Their orange bodies glistened with droplets. They seemed reluctant to go back under the covered walkway. "The storm is passing," said Yum-Ho, looking up at the brightening sky. Jiho nodded. "Now we wait and watch." "Wait for what?" asked Kren. "You'll see," said Hana with a smile. "Keep looking at the sky in that direction." She pointed to where the dark clouds were moving away. Everyone stood quietly, watching the sky. The rain stopped completely. Birds began to sing again from the trees around the botanical garden. "Look!" shouted Minji suddenly, pointing. In the eastern sky, a huge arc of colors appeared. It stretched from one side of the horizon to the other. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, all in a perfect curved line across the sky. The three Drull froze. Their four eyes opened as wide as possible. For a long moment, no one spoke. "What is that?" whispered Vrek finally. "A rainbow," said Jiho. "It appears after rain when the sun shines through water droplets in the air. Light and water together make colors in the sky," asked Trell, his voice filled with wonder. "Yes," said Hana. "The water drops break sunlight into different colors, like tiny prisms." Kren took a few steps forward, staring at the rainbow. "It's the most beautiful thing I have ever seen," he said quietly. Sun Hu Li, the weather expert, had joined them again. He heard Kren's words and smiled. "Scientifically, it's simple," he explained. "Light waves bend when they pass through water. Different colors bend at different angles. But I agree, it is beautiful." "Do you have a word for each color?" asked Vrek. "Yes," said Minji. "Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet." "We have words for only 3 colors on Keros," said Trell. "Dark, light, and middle. Our world doesn't have so many colors to name." The rainbow shone brightly against the dark clouds that were moving away. Everyone stood quietly, watching it. "In Korea, we have old stories about rainbows," said Doyeon. His clothes were still wet from dancing in the rain. "Some people believed rainbows were bridges between Earth and the sky world." "What do your people believe about such things?" Hana asked the aliens. The 3 Drull looked at each other. Kren spoke after a moment. "We have an ancient story," he said. "It tells of a time long ago when Keros had more water. The story says that when water returns to our world in gray amounts, the sky will be painted with bands of color as a sign of good fortune." "A rainbow prophecy," said Jiho with surprise. "Yes," said Kren, "but it is just a children's story. No one has ever seen such bands of color on our world. Until today, said Vrek. Now we have seen it with our own eyes, but on another world. Could your world have rainbows too? Asked Minji. If you had enough water. Kren turned to look at her. All four of his eyes seemed to glow with a new idea. Perhaps, he said slowly, if we had enough water and knew how to use it properly. The rainbow began to fade as the clouds moved farther away, but no one seemed sad. The aliens continued to stare at the sky where it had been. I need to send images of this to our homeworld, said Vrek. Our scientists will want to study it, and our poets will want to write about it, added Trell. Our world has much to share with yours, said Geo. And perhaps your people have things to teach us too. Kren nodded. Yes, this visit has shown me that our worlds can help each other in ways we never imagined. The last colors of the rainbow disappeared, but something had changed. The aliens stood straighter, their eyes bright with new ideas. I think, said Kren, that this rain has washed away more than dust. It has washed away old thinking. 3 days after the rainstorm, the Drell aliens and the human diplomatic team met in a big room with a round table. Windows showed the blue sky outside. No rain fell today, but the memory of it filled the room. Ambassador Kren sat straight in his chair. He wore his environmental suit, but kept the helmet off. The other two Drell, Vrek and Trell, also had their heads uncovered now. They had grown more comfortable in Earth's moist air. We have made a decision, said Kren. We want to change our agreement with Earth. Jiho looked surprised. Change it? In what way? We came to trade our mining technology for your computer systems, said Kren. But now we want something more important. The humans looked at each other. Minji leaned forward with interest. What do you want? Asked Hana. We want to learn about water, said Kren. How you collect it, save it, move it, and use it. And we want to share our terraforming technology with you. Terraforming? Asked Young-O. You mean changing planets? Vrek nodded. Our people have learned to change small parts of our world to make them more livable. We can shape land and change soil. But we never had enough water to make things grow. Together, said Kren, we might be able to bring rain to parts of Karos. The room was quiet as everyone thought about this idea. You want to make it rain on your planet? Asked Geo. Yes, said Kren. Not everywhere, just in some valleys and low places, enough to grow food and make life better for our people. Sunwoo, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. It might be possible. If your planet has frozen water underground or at the poles, we could help you release it safely. Create small water cycles. Our scientists believe it is possible, said Trell. But we need your knowledge of water. Jiho smiled. This is a much bigger exchange than we planned. I will need to talk to my government. Of course, said Kren. But I believe both our worlds would benefit. Bringing rain to a desert world, said Hana softly. It's a beautiful idea. The rain changed how we see things, said Vrek. Water falling freely from the sky seemed impossible 3 days ago. Now we know it can happen. What other impossible things might be possible? Minji had been writing notes. Now she looked up. If we agree to this new plan, how would we start? We would send teachers to each other's worlds, said Kren. Your water experts to Karos, our terraforming experts to Earth. And what would Earth gain from your terraforming? Asked Young-O. You could make your deserts bloom, said Kren. Fix places damaged by humans. Prepare for changing climate. The humans nodded. This made sense. Before we leave, said Kren, we have a gift for all of you. Trell opened a box and took out 7 small round objects. Each was a clear ball with water inside. The water moved gently when the balls were turned. What are these? Asked Jiho, taking one. On our world, we make memory spheres to hold important moments, explained Kren. These hold water from the rain we experienced together. The first rain any Drell has ever felt. Hannah took a sphere and held it up to the light. "It's beautiful. On Keros, these will be priceless," said Vrek. "Water from the sky of another world." "When the first rain falls on Keros," said Kren, "we will send you spheres with that water too." Everyone was quiet, thinking about what this meant. Two worlds, sharing water. Two peoples, learning from each other. "I think," said Jiho finally, "that this rainstorm may have been the most important event in the history of our two planets." Kren's 4 eyes blinked slowly. "On our world, we have a saying. From tiny drops, great rivers form. This is just the beginning." Outside, clouds began to gather again in the sky. Perhaps there would be more rain later. But now, instead of fearing it, the Drow would welcome it and watch carefully, learning everything they could about the wonderful water that fell from the sky. The impossible had become possible, and both worlds would never be the same.